One of Africa's biggest renewable energy developers has raised $180 million to expand its presence in the solar and wind power market. Mainstream Renewable Power wants to use the money to help finance the Power venture. The company's CEO, Eddie O'Connor, says the projects make good business sense.
We're actually coming in at half the price of new coal in South Africa. So if you're going to compare for the future, if you want to build coal or you want to build wind or solar, actually it's good to build wind or solar. It makes no CO2, but that's not the reason. The reason is it's half the price of new coal.
The Lekela project has been bolstered by investment from International Finance Corporation, which is part of the World Bank. IFC Chief Investment Officer Jamie Ferguson says the investment makes the play critical to the role in getting these projects off the ground.
IFC's role is absolutely about catalysing private capital to come into the space. So we're very focused on Africa. It is investment there is still heavily dependent on development banks, but part of this transaction we're very pleased about is that we have crowded in institutional investors into this equity raise.
Let's get a little bit more on this whole story. We've got our Bloomberg Renewable Energy reporter. It is Jessica Shankelman. She joins me from London. Jessica, great to see you. Why are we starting to see investments in clean energy in Africa take off at the moment?
Well, yeah, we absolutely are, Manus. Last year we saw a record $5.4 billion of investment in Africa in clean energy, and this year that's expected to rise to $6.8 billion. Those figures are according to Bloomberg New Energy Finance. And the reason that we're really seeing the investment rising is a shift by governments moving from offering subsidies where you're offering a premium payment to companies building renewable energy projects to running competitive auctions where companies are bidding on the lowest price possible to win contracts to build their projects. And these are driving down extremely low prices and driving investment as well.
Well, you mentioned that auctions have helped to drive down the cost of renewable energy, but the thing is just how low can they actually go here?
Well, just earlier this month, we saw the cheapest price of renewable energy, of solar, in Africa, in Zambia, in an auction actually run as part of an IFC program. And that came in as delivering energy at just over 6 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's hard to say if they're really going to be able to go much lower, and it's incredibly good news for consumers in Africa and in other countries that are also seeing renewable energy auctions deliver power at really cheap prices like this. But there is a concern that some of the prices that we're seeing are so low that people are wondering if they're sustainable or not. If you look at Sun Edison in India, which Sun Edison entered bankruptcy proceedings earlier this year, they went around buying up lots of different projects in India at super cheap prices, and now they're unable to build them. So it's really important that companies are able to build these projects. Otherwise, these cheap projects just won't materialize.
Tell me this, can Africa leapfrog fossil fuels and actually make it straight to cleaner power supplies?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that lots of people are talking about, and we're seeing Africa and developing countries leapfrogging in other areas of technology. But I think it's important to realise that despite the huge boom in renewable energy and the low prices that Eddie O'Connor was talking about, we're still going to see roughly, just under 40% of Africa's new energy will be from fossil fuels, gas driven partly by Nigeria. So despite this boom, we are still going to see a lot of fossil fuels in Africa over the coming years.